Mellow Foreskin cheese.
How is it you got that name?
Um, I was told it's a line of a British drinking song, and I'm a cheesehead. For you illiterates, it means I'm from Wisconsin.
There are different hash groups and stuff like that, and you got named from a different hash group. What was the name of the hash group?
White House.
What are some of the other hash groups that you've hashed with?
Oh God, I've hashed about 5 or 6 in Washington. Mount Vernon, Full Moon, Great Falls, Harriet's, Men's, just Baltimore, just in the Washington area. And then I've hashed about 18 countries and 19 states.
That's amazing.
Like,
so out of all, how many hashes have you been on?
I'm not really sure. I've been about 1,000 just with White House, Mount Vernon, and this one. Every day is Wednesday.
That's incredible.
And there's probably another, I don't know, 500.
That's incredible.
Maybe not that.
Why do you do this so much? Like, what do you like about it? What is it that...
Well, it's a nice form of moderate exercise, social group, having a few beers. Being from Wisconsin, I'm always into that. And I just find it a lot of fun. They're very good people. They're very sincere. There's, just good people.
Tell me, what about some of the unusual hashes that you've been hashed on? I know you've hashed on many different hashes all around the country. Maybe you can, and different countries, I should say. Maybe you can describe, like, what are some of the differences in how the hashes work in other places compared to here?
Well, it's basically the same routine. You end up having an introductory circle. You run. Once you get over it, and then you run. Some of them have a beer check. And then at the end you have like a pray party, and where you drink beer, or food.
So
some of them just have beer. Some of them have snacks, and some of them will have almost like a full meal.
So the common thing, every hash is beer, right? There's always beer.
Yes.
Whatever hash you're on.
Yes.
The common thing is
but
beer.
You don't have to drink beer. You can drink soda or water, and then some of them, especially in Australia, also have wine. And then that's your basic. And then other ones will have variations, like the standard. Some will have a circle at the end, and some won't. Some of them at the circle will only sing one song, like "Here's to X, they are true, they are hashers." And then if Americans are involved, they tend to have all kinds of different down songs. But the basic, and some of them have their own little traditions and stuff like that. But the basic routine is the same for the most part.
So out of all the hashes you've been on, what's your favorite hash? Do you have a favorite? And
well, I like White House. It's my mother hash, and I've always gone back to that. I got the most runs with them, and I'm a former grandmaster with them, and so.
That's a weekly hash.
Yes.
Is it every?
It's during the winter. It's Sunday afternoons. During the summer, it's Monday nights.
All right. So the summer, is that officially Memorial Day?
Yeah. They go Memorial Day to Labor Day. Well, some of the other ones that switch will just go early May to late September.
Why is it hashing is not very well known? Since it's so big and since there's so many people doing it in so many countries, why do so few people know about it?
Well, they try to keep it undercover.
Why do they do that?
Well, because drinking in public is frowned upon, and in certain places illegal, and they just don't want to be hassled. And it's a lot less. It's a lot more people that know about it now with the internet and emails and web pages and that. And I'm surprised that you run into people that were out on trail and they'll say, "You hashers?" Yes, yeah. I used to hash in such and such city or country, in the past. So it actually is fairly well known. But it's not something that constantly advertises. Plus, it's a totally volunteer group. You know, you don't have, it's not, people aren't, it's not a promoter that's out there trying to gin up business for his pocket.
Perfectly good promotion for beer. Let me ask you another question. How did hashing get its name?
Well, it was founded in 1938 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And the British officers over there were part of the colonial force. And they figured they needed some exercise. So they adopted a version of an old British game, either called the paper chase or the hare and the hounds, essentially where a hare would go set a trail and the hounds would follow. And they started it in 1938 and did it every Monday night. And I guess a couple years later, the local authorities said, all right, you're an established group, you have to register, and you have to come up with a name and give us officers and that. So they called themselves the Hash House Harriers because that was the name, that was a slang name for the mess hall in the Royal Selangor Club in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where they lived. And then during World War II, it went into hibernation, and a couple of them, especially one of the founders, G, got killed in Corregidor. And then after World War II, it started up again in the late 40s. And from then, it spread all over the world. And the interesting thing is the mother hash, which is what we call the first one, still runs on Monday nights. And that's a men-only hash, which a lot of the oldest ones are. So if you're a male, you should show up and you can run with them.
Do you run with that hash?
Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia?
Oh, it's not here.
No, it's not here.
Oh, okay. They don't have any men-only hashes in the U.S.?
Yes, they do. The oldest one in America is the DC Men's, and
they do the DC Men's. Okay.
that was founded in 1972. And I run with them periodically.
Have you been hashing since when?
April of 1992.
92.
So it's 15 years.
15 years already, wow. Time. Do you plan to continue doing this for several more years?
I don't see why not. It's a lot of fun. I essentially plan most of my, not all, but a lot of my vacations around it.
Right. Tell us about some of the vacations that you plan. You mentioned something about Africa and you went on some of the hashes there. And tell us a bit about that.
Well, to start off, that an even number of years, everybody gets together from all over the world and goes to Interhash. And
exactly
that was last October. It was in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And 2 years before that was Cardiff, Wales, and before that Goa, India. And then an odd number of years, each continent has their own hash, like Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, the Inter-Americas. And I've been to a number of those in Toronto, Costa Rica,
So what do you got?
Texas, Pittsburgh.
Okay. So you got a bunch of different hashers from a bunch of different countries. Like how many hashers are usually at one of these Interhash?
Well, World Interhashes, Chiang Mai, for example, had maybe about 5,000. I just got back from Maputo, Mozambique, and they had about 350, which is about right for Africa. Inter-Americas this year is over Labor Day in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. They'll have about 900.
Just out of curiosity, how did you find out about hashes?
Some friends.
So it's typically word of mouth. Like everybody finds out
Yes,
from somebody
yes.
else.
Yes.
There's really no advertising.
Now, once in a while,
It's pretty
newspapers
well-
will have an article about it.
But I haven't seen too many articles, and it's typically word of mouth.
Typically.
That for now. Tell us about some of the special events that they have
In the Washington area?
in the Washington area and elsewhere.
Well, if there's an awful lot of campouts, and there's an awful lot of Nash hashes where like a couple states will do it, and some of them are traditional, have been going on for years and years. The one that first started that's really big is red dress runs. Most hashes have it. It was founded in San Diego years ago. They even have it at inner hashes now, or variations, green dress, yellow dress. Like they had a green dress run in Maputo at Inner Africa hash on since it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. And the DC one, I think next year will be the 14th or 15th. It's always the first weekend in October, and that's really good. And then like different hashes have different traditions. White House always is a camping trip and a holiday party. Mount Vernon, for example, has this white elephant exchange where you go to the hash and they have, you do the run, and they have food and that, and then everybody brings a gift, and then you go up there and you pick it, and then somebody and you start from the absolute youngest in seniority hash to the oldest, and somebody with more seniority can take your gift, and then you get a chance to do it again. That's popular. And then different hashes have different things. A lot of people go to this, got back from this Texas Inner Hash. A real big one is the San Francisco Beta Breakers. That's out in California too. They have the Betty Ford Rehab Hash, and then Waukesha, Wisconsin did this one time. It's the Statue of Liberty Hash or something like that. I don't know. They're crazy, but each hash, there are a lot of these traditional hashes. Some of them last a few years. Some of them are around for a long time. And then, of course, you got the inner hashes and the world inner hash.
So have you gone to any of these hashes, especially hashes?
I went to Betty Ford one year in Palm Springs, and it rained. Of all places, you go to Palm Springs, California, and it rained. But no, I just don't go to many of them. I got enough other stuff to do. But I do like to go to some of the inner hashes, and I also like to go to, if a hash has a 1,000th run weekend or hash, I think that's really good. I've been to a lot of them around the Washington area, and I went to the Madrid 1000 and the Beijing 1000, and those are really, really big, and they do like a whole weekend of activities, and they do their best runs and put on a real good show, and it's just a lot of fun.
Great.
I recommend this highly.
Beijing, you say?
Beijing, yeah. Well,
so
that was amazing.
They don't do that here? They don't have similar...
Oh yeah, we did one. We did one. In fact, I was on the committee when White House did their 1,000 run. We appointed a committee of all the former GMs and beermeisters, and we had a pub crawl on Friday. We had a big thing, 4 runs on Saturday with a barbecue after out at the Fairfax Sun Club, a party that night and downtown, and then on Sunday we had a boat trip on the Potomac, and some former White House had a lot of the longtime old timers that I know married and that came, and one even came all the way from Stockholm, and a friend of mine just happened to be in town on business from the Harare hash in Zimbabwe, and so that was really a lot of fun. And so we did a booklet of the history of the hash and everything, and
it's not just running and drinking beer. There's trips, there's camping trips, there's all kinds of social activities that are involved as well.
It's a big social thing, and it's just a lot of really good people and a lot of camaraderie and relief from your normal activities and stress and that. And one thing I like about it is that it's what your relationship is to the hash. Nobody cares really what you do outside of it. And so you can get people married, single, young, old, students, professionals, and that, and you just talk and you socialize, and nobody really cares. And then when you get really close to them, you find out, oh, you do this? I can't believe it, oh, wow. Do you realize that who that person is? So it's you know, it's good. The you know, once in a while you get somebody that's a real jerk, but it's it's actually a lot less common than in any other social group that I've ever been in.
So basically, it's sort of a break from reality. It's sort of a way out. It's sort of
I
a
would say
right.
break from your normal life.
From
Yeah.
your normal
Yes.
normal everyday life. That's great. That's fabulous. And that's why a lot of people do it. All right.